This video is brought to you by the FarmerKlein YouTube channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment.
Hello everybody, welcome back to another Farming Simulator 22 map first impressions video. Today we're going to take a look at Dutch Fantasyland. But before that, this video is brought to you by Matthew Young and Soul Farmer. Thank you for being farm barons. So the Dutch Fantasyland map can be found over at the FarmingSimulator.com website or the in-game downloadable content menu. And as of the 1.0 release, this map is available for PC players only. Let me read you a little bit of the description. This is Dutch Fantasy. This map includes 160 farmlands and 145 fields, many industry and selling points, a BGA, 3 cow farms, 1 place where sheep are on the dikes. This is a complete fantasy custom soil map, more paintable stone types, precision farming ready, custom FillPlane textures, Dutch license plates, MultiTerrain angle, and that I believe is why this is going to be a PC only map. This map has MTA installed, which means that it has more terrain angles than default. And basically the easiest way to think about this is right now, if you would plow in a circle, you would see distinct breaks in the angles as you turned the plow around. But oftentimes with maps that have multi-terrain angle, you could plow in a circle. All that be that unrealistic. You could plow in a circle and it would look as if you did truly plow in a circle because there's more angles that the terrain is allowed to lay down on. Let's go ahead and load on in. Now this map is making use of several required mods. And those required mods are Cowshed 3+3, Crop Storage Pack, Dutch Contractor Shed, Dutch Shed Pack, EU Factories, Farmhouse Package Volume 2, the Manure Basin, Medium Bunker Silos, Old Farm Package, and the Windmill Tunnel Package. So in addition to all of those packages, we are going to be using the mods. We typically just want to take a look at maps. That is additional field info, additional game settings, animal food overview, field lease, field calculator, and precision farming. We're also making use of straw harvest in this video. And I will tell you, if you load this map up in Farm Manager or Start from Scratch modes, you will find that all the farms are built out exactly how you see them here in New Farm Mode. In fact, you also have all of your starting machinery in all 3 game modes. Once we load into the map for the very first time, we start here with the Dutch Fantasy sign. Welcome to Dutch Fantasy. This map is a complete fantasy based on Dutch assets. We hope you enjoy this map. Let's go ahead and take a look at the PDA, but let me get away from these frogs first. Now let's take a look at the PDA because I know that is going to trigger some folks. This map does have all the standard crop types available to us in Farm Sim 22, including if we activate the premium expansion, red beets, carrots, and parsnips. Take a look at our farmland overview screen. We have farmland ID 154. That is the main starting farm. In addition to that, we own fields 1 or farmland 1, 2, 3, and 4. We also own farmland ID 155, which happens to be where the dealer is located. Now, in addition to the main starting farm, we have several other farms that are available on this map. We have a biogas plant available at farmland ID 157. We have an arable farm available at farmland ID 149. Oddly enough, across the street, we have a little buyable area, 148. That is going to be for a manure basin. So the BGA is going to cost us $47,000 to buy. 149 is going to cost us $103,000 to buy. Farmland ID 147 is going to be a sheep farm. That is going to cost us $63,000 to buy. Farmland ID 146 is a cow farm. That's going to cost us $102,000 to buy. Farmland ID 151 is a sheep pasture area. That is going to cost us $85,000 to buy. Farmland ID 152 is going to be a cow pasture. It's going to cost us $52,000 to buy. Farmland ID 153 is going to be an arable farm at $50,000. And that is, yeah, just about it as far as farms available on this map. Take a look at our crop counter. We do have the standard base game crop counter available to us on this particular map. And if we take a look at our prices screen, you will see that we do indeed have the ability to sell all of our base game crops that are available to us in Farm Sim 22. In addition, we have the ability to sell our eggs, wool, and milk. But as we move down through our productions, we are going to find, well, some shortcomings. For example, we do not have the ability to sell flowers or cakes. In fact, we do not have the ability to sell fabric or clothing, for that matter. How about cereal? Nope, not going to happen. We do have a cereal factory on this map, though. We also have a grain mill and a dairy, as well as a BGA as far as production goes. In addition to that, we do not have the ability to sell chocolate, nor do we have the ability to sell planks or furniture on this particular map. We do have the ability to buy bulk lime, but we do not have the ability to get rid of our stones either. So if you do play with stones enabled, you will need to put down your own stone processing point. With respect to the platinum expansion productions, we do not have the ability to sell any of those platinum expansion production nodes. So again, if you wish to do platinum expansion, you will need to put down your own sell point. But as we have seen with maps since Premium has released, we do have the ability to sell all of our premium productions and base game crops. With respect to straw harvest, we have the ability to sell our pellets at the animal dealer. And we do have the ability to get rid of our separated manure if we are playing with pumps and hoses. Taking a look at our vehicle overview, we own all of our machinery. None of it is leased and all of it is well maintained. We do have one cow barn at the starting farm that we own at the start, but no animals. And we do have contracts available. We do not own any production shades at the start, nor do we have any collectibles available on this map. Let's go ahead and take a look at our starting fleet. We start out with the Fendt Favorite 511C small tractor, as well as the Fendt 724 Vario, Kloss Axion 800, and Fendt 714 Vario medium tractors. We have the Nova 330 harvester that's paired up with the PowerStream 500 grain header. Then we have the DK115 trailer. We have the POV5XL plow. We have the Amazon KG 3001 Super Power Harrow that is paired up with the Cynthia 3000 Super Seeder from Amazon. We have the Schluchten VT130 slurry tanker, as well as the Spider SP 6834 slurry applicator. We have the 4140L trailed mower, as well as the GF 8712 tedder and the Samez Z2 840H windrower. We've got our Zelon CFS 2501DO forage wagon. We have the Scytho King TMR mixer, as well as the Q6M front loader arms. And for those front loader arms, we have a silage cutter and a fork with grapple. With respect to mods and DLCs, this map does not have any custom vehicles or implements. Now I'm just going to quickly tab over to our starting fleet tractor, and that's going to take us over here to the starting farm, which is again at Farmland ID 154. See, we have two pull-through silage bunkers located here at this farm. Here we have our cow area. We're going to be able to store 250 cows in here. Believe that is going to be our slurry point. We have our food and straw here in the middle. And then we're going to go with our milk trigger located right here. With respect to our farmhouse, we do not have a farmhouse sleep trigger, so you will need to put down your own sleep trigger if you do wish to sleep through the night. We have some decorative calf huts here. Now, with respect to what can be sold at this farm, we can sell all the buildings, we can sell the calf huts. We cannot sell the farmhouse, nor can we sell these pull-through silage bunkers. In addition to our cow building, we have a nice little shed here. Then around the back, we have our manure storage, our slurry storage. And that is basically the starting farm area. Let's jump back up here and take a look at this custom soil map. Now, I know the description says that this map has a custom soil map. Then it has in parentheses clay. But as we can see here from the log, it is loading the generic soil map that is a part of the Precision Farming mod. And, well, that is exactly what we see here. We see the generic soil map that we have seen so often on so many other maps that is a part of this particular map. So quite possibly the custom soil map maybe isn't quite coded correctly in the map itself, and that's why we are seeing the generic soil map get applied. Let's go ahead and take a look at our farmland lease screen. So I do believe that I jumped over this earlier. This is going to show us all of the viable farmlands on the map, how large those farmlands are, if those farmlands include any field or fields, what is included. Then lastly, how much is that farmland going to cost us? Overall, we've got some, I guess, fairly basic field prices here, or farmland prices. We've got a 0.9 hectares at $71,000. We have field close to 3 hectares costing $243,000. Then we'll go ahead and take a look at our field calculator screen. This is going to show us the specific sizes of each particular field. In fact, field 1 that we own is 0.33 hectares, field 2, 0.72, field 3 is 1.11 hectares, and field 4 is 1.17. So we go ahead and scroll down through this list. You can then cross-reference the field number with the farmland ID number from the previous screen to get a general idea of how much it's going to cost to buy any one particular field. Of course, if you want to, you can pause this video at any time, take a look at any one of these fields. Our largest field is going to be right here around field 127 at 5 hectares in size. Now, I have gone ahead and bought all of the other farm areas as well as the 2 animal pastures. And we'll take a look at those during the fly around and drive around portions of the map. Overall, this is a flat map with ditches between each particular field. You have our starting farm down below here. And we'll go ahead and swing to the south, where we're going to find our arable farm at farmland ID 153. Now, with respect to can the farms be customizable, we're going to be giving the map 3/4 of a point with respect to that on our scoring metric, because while we can sell most of the things at most of the farms, there are various things at nearly every possible player farm that is unsellable. Now, what's interesting is down below here we have our vehicle shop. This is some land that we do own at the start, and it really doesn't look like the typical vehicle shop. You'll see when we get over to the drive around portion. Kind of looks like an arable farm that just has a shop trigger and dealer trigger assigned to it. Here we have some sell points. This is not the biogas plant. There's just a couple of sell points that have been set up. The BGA is up here further to the north. So we are coming up here to the extreme northeast corner of the map. That is where we are going to find the biogas plant. And with respect to what happens if we own the BGA and sell it, well, if we do sell the biogas plant, then it will be removed. But the things that we cannot remove from here are the gates and the scale house. We can sell the 2 pull-through silage bunkers, and we can sell the BGA itself if we do own it. Coming across the northern part of the map, we have another arable farm located right here just south of field 40. So you see that down below. And we're going to now take a little diagonal run and run along this road, which is going to take us over to our next farm, which is going to be the sheep farm. at Farmland ID 147. I do believe I misspoke. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, folks. Sheep farm is right here. This is 147. And I do believe that I may have missed buying that one. Yep, I got it. So that is the sheep farm. Then we have the cow farm located right here. Oh, we got a nasty sinkhole in the middle of this field. That is something that definitely is going to need to be updated. And quite frankly, if you are thinking about maybe playing this map, well, if field 135 is remotely something you are interested in, unless you're willing to buy the field and flatten that out yourself, definitely wait for the map update that fixes that, because you will need to start a new game save in order for terrain like that to update on your game save. So here we have one of our cow farms. Across the street we do have a couple silage bunkers that are part of the viable farmland here. Now we've seen this on a couple other maps, Alma specifically, because I have been playing on Alma recently, where we have our animals and they just kind of jitter, stutter when they are moving. And like I said, we've seen this on a couple maps and we're not really sure what's going on with that, but here we have our sheep pasture. And that is located up here along this berm, or as the description calls it, a dike. Triggers are over here north of field 48. And then we have a cow pasture located right here. It is Farmland ID 152. And that is pretty much the map. We do have several sell points over here, and 3 of our 4 production points are located over here. We have the cereal factory, we have the grain mill, and the dairy located below. Then we have several sell points also located in this bunker. We'll talk about those when we get over here during the drive around portion. I'm going to quickly make my way back over to the vehicle dealer, where we will pick up our Mahindra and then make our way around the map, drive around to the various points of interest and the various farms, and just take a look at all the triggers and such. So as I said, down here at the shop, it really is set up and looks like just a general possible player farm. It is on land that we do own at the start in new farmer mode, and it is land that we could buy in any alternate game mode. We have our shop trigger located right here. We've got a fairly small area for vehicles and such to spawn in at. And then we have our dealer trigger located in this shed. And it is a full-fledged dealer trigger, so we'll be able to buy, sell, trade, and repaint such things. But our harvester header, and trailer are parked down here at the dealer. Let's go ahead and just quickly take a look at build mode. We have a lot of required mods that are a part of this map, and as such, there are going to be included lots of things in the build mode because of those required mods. With respect to production, we do have the EU factories, so they are listed there as well. Then fairly standard everything else. We do have, again, some custom placeables in the animal area, again, that are tied to those multiple required mods. And then landscaping, we do have several ground textures that are available. We've got a couple lattice works. So let's go ahead and just put a couple of these down. So we have our asphalt. We have our concrete, which is what we already see here. We have another form of concrete pavers. We have concrete lattice work, I call it. Another set of pavers. And then we move into our standard farm sim ground textures. We have meadow grass, which is listed as custom. We'll play a little bit of that down there. And then we have fairly standard trees. So we have our asphalt, a nice dark asphalt. We have these pavers. Those pavers. We've got the lattice work. Then we've got some darker pavers. Then we have that meadow grass. So coming out from the dealer, we'll go ahead and take this road and hang a left. We're going to make our way north. Kind of some loud frogs on this map. That alone might be something that might turn some players off, is some loud frogs. We might need to find a way to turn down the ambient sounds a wee little bit. So we're going to take a left here between field 64 and 65. That's going to loop us around diagonally. The first area of interest. And from here we're going to be able to sell our manure. We're going to have a buying station for our slurry. Right there. So here we're going to be able to buy slurry, and we're going to be able to sell manure and sell slurry over here. Let's talk about more of our scoring metric with respect to production being built in or areas set aside for such. We are going to begin the map a full point because we do have a cereal factory, grain mill, dairy, and biogas plant. We are not going to be too terribly worried about the fact that we do not have the ability to sell cereal, but that is something to note, that if you do have the inclination to produce cereal, you will need to put down your own sell point for that. So this is where we started out. There you can see the sign. We have our farmers market sell point located here. With respect to the grain mill, we do have the ability to sell flour, and the dairy, if you are going to make chocolate from the dairy, well, then also know that you will not have the ability to sell that unless you put your own sell point down as well. And then lastly, we have the biogas plant, which we are making our way up to right now. With respect to the ability to sell all of our basic crops, production items, and animal outputs, I've kind of already alluded to this, the fact that we do not have the ability to sell flour, cake, fabric, clothes. Oh, sorry, I was mistaken. We do have a grain mill, and we can't sell flour. We can sell bread. Flour and cake are what we can't sell. So of the 4 productions, 3 of those productions produce things which we cannot sell. I don't know about you, but that's a little annoying to me. I would think that if you have pre-placed productions, you should also have the ability to sell the output of those pre-placed productions without relying on the player of putting something else down, like the sell everything mod, which ironically is more and more useful with every map video we publish. Don't know why. So we do not have the ability to sell flour, cake, fabric, clothes, cereal, chocolate, planks, furniture. So we will begin the map 3/4 of a point with respect to the ability to sell all our basic crops, production items, and animal outputs. Now, why you say, no, that sounds like quite a big list of things that you cannot sell. Why are you only taking a quarter point off? Well, that is because mathematically it is a small percentage of the total fill types available when you sum up all the base game crops, the animal outputs, hay, silage, grass, and all of the base game productions. Even that list is fairly small, so 3/4 of a point there. We do not take out points with respect to the ability to sell stones, but that is something that we also do point out. So here we have the biogas plant. We can sell the BGA. We can sell the pull-through bunkers if you wish to. Then that would give you a nice buildable area here, either to build out your own biogas plant or build out possibly yet another playable farm. So I'm just trying to find my way back over to the fuel point. Just going to be up and over this bridge. And then directly ahead, we do have our fuel point for the map. We did not talk about this during the drive around, or flyover, but here we have that. Brayson's garage. Now, with respect to buildings where appropriate, are using the new texturing technique, as well as ground textures. The ground textures that are custom with the map did look like they were using the new texturing technique, which is always a good thing to see. Now, this map has some interesting animated traffic. We just passed one. There are bicycles here along the road, as well as vehicles. We have our sheep area. We have our spawn point for our wool. We have our dump point for our food and water. And then in addition to the 200 sheep that are already up here on the dike, well, we can store another 200 more for a total of 400 sheep. And these sheep are located here even if you do not own the land. And of course, you will not be able to fill the food trough, and as such, there will be no wool generated until you do fill a food trough and provide water. Let's make our way across this bridge to the northwest corner of the map. And that is where we are going to find the rest of our sell points, our 3 production points that we have not yet talked about, and a couple of the possible player farms. We're going to pass this farm and hit it on our way back. We're going to make our way up to the arable farm, which is toward the end of this long run. Now, with respect to buildings where using the new texturing technique, I don't think I ever mentioned a score. We're going to give the map 3/4 of a point there. Taking a little bit off because I feel that there are some buildings on this map that may not be using the new technique of ground textures and wall textures and such, although really they do not necessarily detract from the overall visual appeal of the map, right? They don't detract like, whoa, that building looks like it's severely low res. We don't have any of that. So here we have a slurry storage across the street from the arable farm. The arable farm here, it does not include a sleep trigger. Got some large vehicle sheds. And this specifically set up for crop storage. So we do have tip triggers in here. We have a water trigger and a diesel fill point. Now, what's interesting is, and I noticed this when I was doing my pre-testing, is I couldn't sell the diesel and I couldn't sell the water. And now as I walk up to the diesel, we should have a little pop-up notice in the bottom right corner. That is basically telling us that this is for diesel storage, and it typically would include 0 liters of diesel by default, but we're not getting that. And when we come up here to the interactive trigger, we're not getting a pop-up in our F1 menu, nor is the trigger responsive. So I feel like this is coded incorrectly, and that is why when we go to build mode, we don't get the ability to sell it. If we go to demolish, we don't get the ability to sell it. And even though we own this land, do you want to point out we do own this land, we cannot do anything with this. So again, I feel this is going to be needing an update. Inside of here, we have a maintenance trigger. That is working, thankfully. Then we have another large, vehicle shed located right here. Well, at least we can open the gate. Now we'll double back and head over to the sheep farm. This is going to be a Farmland ID 147, and it's going to be south of field 128. Now, for those of you watching the video today, the day that is released, January 30th, 2024, are fairly recent after today. Giants just published that they have sold over 6 million copies of the game. They have exceeded the number of mods on the mod hub for Farm Sim 19, so FS22 has become the most popular farm sim version to date as far as number of games sold and as far as number of mods hosted on the Giants mod hub. Pretty cool feat. So here we have the sheep farm, a large machine shed, grain storage shed. Then we have our sheep area. So we can hold 15 sheep inside of here. Then we have our food dump right here inside the door. Some more general storage. I feel that is awful small. And I'm also not really seeing any clear indication as to where the wool is supposed to be spawning. I was hoping we would see some markers inside of there. So that is going to ultimately affect the score a little bit in not being able to clearly indicate where certain things are going to be happening. Just down the street from the sheep farm, we have a cow farm. But just beside the cow farm, we do have a sell point located right here. Or I don't know what this translates as, but it doesn't have a sell point trigger. It has a fill point trigger. So this is going to be a bulk lime buy point. It would be nice to have seen those sell points and buy points have translatable languages, so they were kind of globalized. Now this farm does have a sleep trigger associated with it, located right here at the front door. We have our milk trigger. We have our cow buy point. 200 cows in here. We have our food and straw dump. We have our slurry point. And that is pretty much it. A large machine shed. We have the two pull-through silage bunkers across the street. Now let's make our way over to where the other 3 factories are and a collection of sell points. And you'll see when we get down here to these sell points, I do wish they were labeled to make them a bit clearer. So I feel like the player who's playing on this map is going to end up kind of taking their trailer and trying to back it into each of these to figure out ultimately which sells what. So let's go ahead and take a look at that in a little closer details. We have the animal dealer, which is in this first bay, but it's not the animal dealer to buy animals. It's the animal dealer to sell things. Then we have the selling station for potatoes next. Then we have the selling station for beets. Then we have the selling station for maize or corn. And then the sell station everything, but not really everything. Because, well, we can't sell flour, cake, fabric, clothes, cereal, chocolate, planks, or furniture. Just past from that, we have our cereal factory. Here we have our interactive icon, and I do know it's kind of loud here, so we'll turn you down here. We have our pallet spawn point, and we have our dump point. And then around on the other side, we have our grain mill, located right here. We have our interactive point, dump point, and pallet spawn point. And then we have our dairy, located right here. Again, interactive dump point and pallet spawn point. Now let's make our way back across the river to the southern side of the map. Make our way over to the cow pasture. So Farmland ID 152. And we just have a couple other points of interest beyond that. Kind of an interesting use of elevation with respect to these roads. So here we have the cow pasture. We can have 50 cows in here with water, food, and milk. Continue to take this kind of around the bend. Now this section of the road is interesting. We have red, which I assume is going to be indicating the bicycle lanes. But I didn't really pick up on the red on the other roads that had these markings. Here we have the animal dealer to purchase animals. kind of a unique setup on this map where the animal dealer to sell, the named sell point animal dealer, is removed completely from the animal dealer to buy your animals. Then we have one more arable farm down here to the south. And as we are making our way down to that arable farm, let's talk about the final scoring metric, which is going to be player and interactive areas being clearly marked. We have run across a few different areas that we feel are not maybe as clearly marked as they should be. So we're going to be giving the map 3/4 of a point there. Just past another biker. So that's going to give this map a total score of 4 out of 5. Pretty respectable score, but there are maybe a couple things that are worth getting updated before you maybe want to play on this map. We've got that big sinkhole up there in field, gosh, what was it? Field 35, maybe? That is definitely going to require a game update. So down here, we have a sleep trigger once again. We've got some sheds. This building is going to be set up. Well, you can store machinery in here, but really it's set up to store crops. Then we have our large machine storage shed there. And that is pretty much it. We got our slurry back here on the back. If you are going to be basically using slurry for fertilizer, you're going to want to have some place to store it. So guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below with respect to this map, which is DutchFantasy. And until next time, happy farming.